told, students, we are going to learn about that is five phylums which comes under vertebrates. That is, which are those? Fishes, amphibia, reptilia, aves, and another last one we are having, that is mammalia. So they are going to have a number of varieties in these organisms, and even hereby in this class we are going to learn about how they are going to respire, whether they are egg laying animals or whether they are giving birth to their younger ones, and even how they are going to have the mode of respiration, and even the reproduction and their body design and all we are going to learn about. The first one we have to go for which one, that is Pisces. These are nothing but fishes. They are exclusively aquatic animals. You all know that is what happened. All the fishes are going to come or having the habitat in the water itself. Their skin is covered with the scales or even plates. You know that is fishes are having that is different types of scales or even that is plates. They are having different colors because they have to attract the other kind of fishes, that is male and the female fishes have to be attracted for their reproduction. Hence, they are having different types of scales. They obtain oxygen dissolved in water by using gills. Students, listen here carefully because many of you are thinking that is the oxygen which is present in water means in the H2O we are having oxygen. So many of us think that is what happened. That is oxygen which is present in water. The fishes are going to have those. No, the oxygen which is dissolved in water, what happened? That will be utilized by which one they are telling? They are utilized by the fishes. So that's how what happened. The fishes are going to respire through which one they are telling? Gills. And even you know that is in the last class you have already learnt the fishes are having higher rate of respiration. That is their gills are going to open up wide very fast because the oxygen present in the water which is very less. That's how what happened. They are going to respire at a very faster rate, and the body is streamlined. The body is boat shaped, isn't it? Because for the movement what happened, the body is streamlined, and even muscular tail is used for the movement. They are cold blooded organisms. What do you mean by a cold blooded organisms? Our body temperature can fluctuate according to the temperature in the environment. Means thereby what happened, I have to say here, one is a warm blooded organisms and a cold blooded organisms. What do you mean by a warm and a cold? That is, if a temperature of a body fluctuate, that is changes according to the atmospheric changes. That is, if outside the temperature is very hot and if the outside the temperature is very cold, according to that one, if a body temperature variation means, thereby we are going to call it as a cold blooded organisms. But even if our outside body temperature is going to vary, that is whether it may be chill or whether it may be hot or cold, if a body temperature does not change like us, means we are going to call it as which one? Warm blooded organisms. So hereby they are telling all fishes are cold blooded organisms and their hearts have only two chambers. So they are telling only two chambers, so there is no separation of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood, unlike the four chambers that human have. They lay eggs, means hereby what happens, all the fishes are going to lay eggs. We can think of many kinds of fishes, some with skeleton made entirely of cartilage such as shark, and some with skeleton made up of both bone and cartilage such as tuna and rohu. So thereby what happen, even in the fishes you can able to find that is fishes are made up of cartilage and some fishes are bony fishes. That is how they have told, that is two types of fishes we are having. And the next thing, we have pictures here, that is for the example of fishes they have given. And the next phylum we have to go for amphibia. So here they are telling these animals differ from fish in the lack of a scales, so that you cannot able to find that is a scales on the amphibians in having mucus glands in the skin and three chambered heart. So they are telling these amphibians does not have any scales, but when you touch any kind of a amphibian, thereby what happen, they will be having a soft skin which is present on that, because there is a mucus gland, that is what happen thereby a water like content which is present on the body. That's what happen, they are telling mucus glands which are present in these organisms. And the heart of the fishes are having two chambered heart, whereas when you come for the amphibia, all the amphibians are having how many chambered of heart, that is three chambered heart. Here also there is no separation of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. If there is no oxygenated and deoxygenated blood, means directly we can say these organisms are what, warm blooded organisms? No, they are a cold blooded organisms. And in the last one you have seen that is fishes are going to respire through gills, but in the amphibia what happen, respiration is through gills. That is in the earlier stages of amphibians what happen, they are going to respire through gills, but after attaining certain time what happen, these kind of amphibians are going to respire through lungs and even through the skin, and even these organisms are going to lay the eggs. These animals are found both in water and land. You have heard that is something amphibians of plant kingdom, no? Which is that species? Did you recall? It is a bryophytes. In the plant, we call the amphibians of plant kingdom. But here, amphibians are nothing but here they are telling they live both land and water. Frogs, toads, and salamanders are some examples for which one they are telling amphibians. They breathe through gill while they are tadpoles, that is in the earlier stages, that is in the, what happens when they are too young, what happens, they are going to respire through the gills, but when they develop to certain stages what happen, thereby they will be breathing to which one they are telling lungs. Mature frogs breathe mainly with lungs and also exchange gas with the environment through the skin. So the respiratory organs hereby what happen, we can directly say the lungs and even the skins. And here you have some pictures like salamander, toad, rana tigrina, that is whatever the common which we are having, frog, and even that is hyla. And listen here children, you can see that is the legs of these organisms, that is in the front, that is whatever may be the kind here which you can find, that is a four limbs here. The four limbs are always having how many digits? Four digits in amphibia. In amphibia the four limbs are always having four digits, and the hind limbs, that is the backer limbs, whatever they are having, they will be having that is five digits. So the four limbs in the amphibia they are having four digits, and the hind limbs they are having that is five digits. So and even you can see that is the four limbs are smaller when you compare to the which one, the hind limbs. For the jumping situation and all what happened, it will be used, that is why the four limbs are smaller when you compare to the hind limbs. And the next thing we have to go for the reptilia. These are animals are also cold blooded, they have scales and breathe through the lungs, while most of them have three chambered heart. So all the reptiles what happen, they will be having that is three chambered heart, but they are telling crocodiles have four chambered heart. But exactly the crocodile does not possess four chambered heart, but hereby what happen, incompletely or partially divided four chambers of heart can we find. That is how they are telling crocodiles have four chambered heart. Then this is the only organism in the reptilia are having four chambered heart. That too, crocodile does not have completely divided four chambered heart, it is partially divided. That's how what happened, they are telling four chambered heart. They to lay the eggs with tough coverings and do not need to lay eggs in water, unlike amphibians. Like amphibians and all what happen, they are going to lay the eggs in water, but the reptilia thereby what happen, they are going to lay the eggs in sand or even in other places. Snake, turtles, lizards, and crocodiles fall in this category. So hereby you can see turtle, chameleon, king cobra, flying lizard, house wall lizard. All these are example for which one they are telling reptilia. Earlier I said that is what happened. The four limbs and even hind limbs in the amphibia they are having four and five digits. But when you go for the reptilia, these organisms are having five digits. In whether it can be in the four limbs or even it can be in the hind limb. That is why they are telling they are a pentadactyl. Penta means how many? That is 5. The 4 and 5, the 4 and hind limbs are having, that is how many digits? 5 digits. The next thing we are having, that is aves. So for whatever we have learned, that is Pisces, amphibians and the reptilia, they are cold-blooded organisms. And here aves, these are the first formation of warm-blooded organisms, because hereby these organisms have a exact four-chambered heart. Exact four-chambered heart means a completely, thereby what happened, no mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. So if there is no mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood, means there is no cold blooded kind of a topic itself. And these to lay the eggs, and even you can see that is what happened, all the birds will be covered with the feathers will be mainly helpful for which one? They will be mainly helpful for the attraction of other kind of a other birds for the reproduction it may be, and even it will attract us too, isn't it? And even for the flying, thereby what happen, the feathers will be helpful. There is an outside covering of a feathers, and two forelimbs are modified into flights. So thereby what happen, here forelimbs are modified into which one they are telling, are feathers. But the hind limbs, which are used for which one? For the walking, they breathe through the lungs. Even these aves are going to breathe through which one? They are telling lungs. All birds fall in this category. So all the birds, thereby what happen, will comes under this category. And even when you just see the bird, means what happen, they will be having a lightweight, means the bones of the birds are not made up of like us, but the bones which are present in the birds are pneumatic bones. That is, the bones in the birds are mainly found which one? With maximum filling of water. So if a bones are filled with, if a bones are filled with oxygen, then they are going to call it as a pneumatic bone. So the birds bones are filled with the oxygen or air, hence they are going to call it as pneumatic bone. That's how what happened, you can see that is many birds are going to fly. But have you ever seen that is other heavy birds, like which one? Ostrich it may be, or even hen it may be. Can it be able to fly? No, because their bones are not filled with the air. So if the bones are filled with air, then they are going to call it as pneumatic bone. If these possess pneumatic bones, then they will be able to fly. If bones are not filled, means they may not be able to fly. Here are some pictures they have given, that is you can see. And the next phylum hereby we are having Mammalia. The word Mammalia, why they have given Mammalia? Because all the organisms which comes under the family Mammalia, they feed their young ones, that is they feed their milk, hence they are going to call it as Mammalia. But when you have seen the other phylums, such as which one? Fishes it may be, or reptilia it may be, amphibia or aves, they won't feed their young one with the milk. These are the only species of organism, thereby what happened, to feed their young ones with the milk. Most mammals familiar to us produce live young ones. So far we have seen that is they are going to lay the eggs, and this is the first case we are going to see, that is they are going to give birth to their young ones. That's what they are telling. So they are not they are not the egg laying animals. These are viviparous. Viviparous means they are going to lay the eggs, hence they are going to call them as they are going to give birth to their young ones. However, few of them like platypus and the echidna. So keep it in mind. In Mammalia, which are the egg-laying mammals, if they ask, means echidna and platypus. Apart from echidna and platypus, all other organisms which comes under what happens, they are going to give birth to their young one. And some like kangaroos give birth to the very poorly developed young one. So here are certain pictures they have given, and even these mammalia are nothing but they are also a warm-blooded organisms, and we are going to respire through which one? Lungs, and even through the skin, and even we are having diaphragm, that is for the easily movement of our lungs we are having. And another one, we, as I already told, we are going to give birth to the younger ones, and we have a well developed brain it may be, and even we are having a pentadactyl, that is 5 digits in our fingers, that is in our hands, and even that is in our legs. That is, our forelimbs are modified into hands and our hind limbs are modified into which one, that is legs. And even we are having that is nails along with that. Thus, so we can say that is humans or mammalians are nothing but a highly developed organization when you compare to any kinds of organs development. And next we have that is Carolus linnaeus, that is nomenclature. The scientific name of an organism is thus unique and can be used to identify it anywhere in the world. You might have heard that is we are going to call the different types of organisms in Hindi, English, Kannada, Tamil and Telugu, isn't it? So there is a scientific word for the naming of those organisms and it was given by Carolus Linnaeus. That is why you will be knowing that is the contribution we have already learnt in earlier classes. The system of scientific naming or nomenclature we use today was introduced by Carolus Linnaeus in the 18th century. The scientific name of organism is the result of process of classification which puts it along with the organisms it almost related to. So whatever may be the scientific naming we are going to see, that is human belong to that is Homo species. Two names it was given, isn't it? It is mainly because of which one, that is Carolus Linnaeus. Carolus Linnaeus was born in Sweden and was a doctor by profession. So, hereby what happens, he had written, he published 40 papers and also brought out the famous book called System Naturae, from which all fundamental taxonomical researches have been taken off. His system of classification was very simple scheme for arranging plants so as to be able to identify them again. When we usually name the species, we do not list out the whole hierarchy of groups it belongs to. Instead, we limit ourselves to writing the name of the genus and species of that particular organisms. Here they have given, that is a man, Homo sapiens, human belong to Animalia, phylum Chordata, class Mammalia, order Primates, family Hominidae, genus Homo and species Sapiens.